The Earth rotates at 1,040 miles per hour at the equator. You stand on a surface moving faster than commercial jets fly. Your coffee sits still in its cup. Your dog sleeps peacefully on the floor. The air feels motionless against your skin. This is the equilibrium of shared velocity. Everything moves together. The ground, the oceans, the atmosphere, the skyscrapers, the birds, you. All locked in synchronous motion for 4.5 billion years. The angular momentum of our planet is not a suggestion. It is an absolute law written into the fabric of matter itself. The crust stops. The mantle stops. The iron core ceases its eternal churn. But inertia obeys no planetary decree. Every molecule of air, every drop of water, every human body, every brick and every wall continues east at supersonic velocity. The violation is instantaneous. Physics does not negotiate. You are standing in New York City. The planet stops. You do not. Your body accelerates from 0 to 790 miles per hour in a fraction of a second. The G-force is not survivable. Your skeleton shatters before your nervous system can register pain. You impact the nearest eastern structure at the speed of sound. Buildings do not catch you. They erase you. Every human being not at the poles becomes a supersonic projectile. 7 billion lives end in the same instant. The kinetic energy transfer is absolute. The atmosphere does not stop with the crust. 5 quadrillion tons of air continues eastward at 1,660 kilometers per hour. Winds exceed Mach 1.3 across the entire surface. This is not weather. This is a supersonic shockwave that never ends. Concrete structures atomize under atmospheric friction alone. Steel girders bend, heat, and vaporize. The sound is beyond human perception. It is not wind, it is the screening of molecules, ripping matter apart at the atomic level. Entire cities vanish into dust plumes in under 60 seconds. The oceans obey the same law. 1.4 billion cubic kilometers of water continues east while the seafloor stops beneath it. Tsunamis form instantaneously on every coastline. These are not waves. They are mountains of water with continental momentum. Eastern coasts face walls of ocean 3 kilometers high, moving at aircraft velocity. The impact releases energy equivalent to 4,000 simultaneous asteroid strikes. Coastal cities are not flooded. They are buried under pressure that liquefies bedrock. The Mediterranean Sea empties into Eastern Europe as a solid column of water. The Atlantic climbs the Appalachian Mountains. The crust and mantle are not welded together. They slide on a boundary lubricated by partial melt and pressure. When rotation stops, this interface experiences shearing force beyond any tectonic process in Earth's history. The friction generates temperatures exceeding 2,000 degrees Celsius across the entire mantle crust boundary layer. Rock does not simply crack, it liquefies. The Mohorovičić discontinuity becomes a global fracture zone. Every fault line on Earth activates simultaneously. The crust begins to separate from the mantle in continental scale sheets. The geologic screen becomes audible through eruption. Every tectonic weak point ruptures. Yellowstone, Vesuvius, Krakatoa, Taboa, Tambora, and 10,000 unnamed volcanic vents detonate in synchrony. This is not plate tectonics. This is crustal failure. Magma floods the surface through continent-spanning fissures. Pyroclastic density currents blanket entire hemispheres. The atmosphere fills with volcanic aerosols that will not settle for decades. Sulfur dioxide concentrations reach extinction-level thresholds within hours. Sunlight cannot penetrate the ash column. The magnetic field collapses within hours. Earth's dynamo requires rotation. The liquid iron outer core stops its convective flow. The magnetosphere dissolves like smoke. Solar wind impacts the upper atmosphere directly. Charged particles strip oxygen and nitrogen molecules into space at accelerating rates. The Van Allen radiation belts vanish. Cosmic radiation penetrates to the surface unfiltered. Any remaining life faces ionizing doses that shred DNA within minutes of exposure. The atmosphere begins its slow bleed into the vacuum. The rotation stops, so does the day-night cycle as we know it. One hemisphere faces the sun for 6 months, the other faces the void. The dark side descends into temperatures approaching absolute zero. Oceans freeze solid to depths of 10 kilometers. Ice advances across continents at meters per day. The frozen atmosphere precipitates as solid nitrogen and oxygen snow. Lakes of liquid methane form in the permanent shadow. Any structure not pulverized in the initial event is now entombed in glacial ice that will persist for millions of years. The sunward face becomes a furnace. 6 months of uninterrupted solar radiation evaporates surface water within weeks. Temperatures climb beyond 100 degrees Celsius across the entire hemisphere. The remaining atmosphere convects violently between hot and cold sides, creating permanent hypercanes at the terminator line, with wind speeds exceeding 500 kilometers per hour. The ground cracks into polygonal plates, supersedes. Silicate rocks sublime directly into vapor. This is not a desert. This is a planetary-scale crematorium, where matter itself breaks down under thermal assault. Between the furnace and the freezer exists a narrow band of perpetual twilight. This terminator zone experiences temperature gradients so extreme that winds achieve sustained velocities exceeding any hurricane in Earth's history. The atmospheric pressure differential creates permanent vortex systems kilometers in diameter. This belt is not habitable. It is a war zone where physics tears the remaining atmosphere apart in its attempt to equalize impossible extremes. The sound here is continuous thunder from supersonic wind shear. Months after the cessation, Earth hangs in space as a divided marble, one face locked in frozen darkness, the other scorched under relentless solar bombardment. The thin band between them screams with permanent storms. The magnetic field is gone. The atmosphere bleeds into space at tons per second. Volcanic ash circles the globe in stratified layers that will take centuries to settle. No lights pierce the darkness. No signals broadcast from the surface. Bail. The biosphere has entered its final extinction event. Not from impact, not from disease, but from the simple cessation of rotational motion. The clocks stopped. They registered the exact second of cessation. Their hands froze mid-sweep, encased now in ice or buried under ash. Time did not stop, but its measurement became irrelevant. The 24-hour day, the rhythm that governed every biological process, every human schedule, every cultural tradition, ended. What remains is an alien planet wearing Earth's corpse. The rotation we never thought about, never thanked, never acknowledged, was the single invisible thread holding our entire existence together. The planet that spun for 4.5 billion years is now silent. Its rotation, the result of angular momentum from the primordial accretion disk that formed our solar system, has been stolen by forces beyond natural law. This was not a simulation. This was physics. The Earth's rotation is not decorative. It is the engine of our magnetic shield, the creator of our weather, the clock of our biology, the mixer of our oceans. Remove it, and the machine of habitability disassembles in hours. We live on a spinning rock hurtling through the void. That spin is not optional. It is everything. The Earth continues its orbit around the sun, but it no longer turns. It shows the same scarred face to the cosmos forever. A monument to the fragility of equilibrium. A warning written in planetary corpse. The angular momentum that protected us is gone, and with it, everything we were.